Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I saw that we have a lot of you on live right now for today's cards. Thank you guys so much for being here, whether you're live or on the replay. I'm just so tickled that you guys are here and excited to create right along with me with today's card. So I have Brenda Paulson here, my most fabulous moderator. She is there in the chat box. So if you're live, feel free to go over there and chat with her. But if you're watching the replay, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. So we are going to get started with our cards today. I am so excited about these. This is what I'm calling my double gatefold card. By the way, there is a free download. Oh, let me reach it. I've got a free download for you with all your measurements, the supplies that I use. Be sure to head over to simplysimplestamping.com. You'll find that under the June, what is today? 21st, 23rd, 23rd. It's my daughter's 21st birthday. That's why I got myself confused. Jenny turned 21 today. Can you believe it? So guess what? She went to Disney for her birthday. She's at Disney World right now. She came down with COVID on day 2. She got to go to Disney one day. Oh, my heart just broke for her. So send a little prayer for her. She feels fine. She's feeling great. That's not the problem. But she tested positive. She is spending her trip to Disney in a hotel room, not what she had planned for her 21st birthday. Anyway, today is the 23rd. And if you'll find that blog post for June 23rd, you'll find that download. Or I always like to say the easy way, look down in the YouTube description and there is a direct link that will take you to the post where you can find the download. You're going to see a big blue button that says grab your free download here. So you can do that. And if you're live with me, Brenda's also sharing that link with you there in the chat box. Okay. Me. Connie's talked. Let's head over to my stamping table and we're going to create. So, yep, there is that download. I'm going to set that somewhere where I can see my measurements. We are going to create, like I said, this really awesome double gatefold card. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see. It's just such a fun card because look at what we're going to do. Whop. It's just a unique fold. We love those fun folds, right? Guys, I've got some tips and tricks to save us some card stock. You're going to really love creating this card. So I hope that you'll create along with me. And if you are, we're going to go over the supplies we need for our card. I'm going to be using Petal Pink. For my card. And guys, this is half a sheet of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5. And we did a little scoring. We scored on both sides at 2 1/8 inch. And that's going to give us our gatefold. Okay, so 2 1/8 inch there. I've got a couple more pieces. These are some layering pieces. And these are 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And Brenda, bless her heart, she's going to put those measurements up on the screen. Let's see. How about some sweet sorbet? This is our next layer. Oh my goodness, we have lots of pieces here. And what we have are, let's start with this one. This one is a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I know you guys hate it when I do that eighths thing, right? But I had to. So yeah, we're going to do 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Then I have 2 pieces here. This is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. These 2 pieces here, 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. So 2 of those, sweet sorbet. It's going to look really great with that petal pink. We've got some basic white for our stamping. This one is 3 3/4 by 5. This one here is a 2 1/4 by 3, but I'm going to tell you it's just a scrap. This is what we're going to use to stamp and punch our sentiments. So just feel free to use a scrap on that one. We are going to bring in some of the beautiful Tea Boutique Designer Series paper. This is one of my favorite papers right now. First of all, I love anything gingham. I really do. It's got a nice little petal pink gingham on one side, these great flowers on the other. By the way, that paper does come 6 by 6. So we're going to be working with just one 6 by 6 piece of Designer Series paper. And of course, why not use the matching stamp set? I mean, if we're going to use the paper, we're going to use the matching stamp set. And guess what? We're not going to use the cups. We're going to use some other pieces, but we're not going to focus on the actual cups of tea for this one. But we're going to work with that fabulous set. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. We're going to talk about cutting down your Designer Series paper. I love creating cards and going, hey, how can I get the most out of this piece of paper, right? I do it all the time. All right, the first cut we're going to make is a 1 3/4 of an inch by 6. Okay, there's one. We're going to repeat that 1 3/4 by 6. Now let's trim these down. And by the way, you can put both of these together when you do this. We want to trim this down to 5 1/8. All right, that way it'll fit there on my cardstock. So that's going to be your scrap. We can get rid of that. So there are those pieces. Now with what we have left, we want to cut this down to, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. We're going to cut it down to 2 inches. Actually, you know what? I like this end better. If I'm going to cut anything off, I want to cut off that little white area there. How about that? 2 inches. So there's our little scrap right there. And then we're going to cut it down to 3 inches. 2 by 3. So we'll have two 2x3s and two 1 3/4 by 5 1/8. That is your cutting on your designer series paper. All right. Now we are going to tell you what, we're going to do our stamping next. Let's go ahead and get into our stamping. It's my favorite part. It's probably your favorite part too. I'm going to bring in some grid paper underneath me. My friends, we are just going to use 2 little ink pads today, Petal Pink and Garden Green. So let's go ahead and start with our Garden Green. And I am going to we're going to start, this is the inside of our card. I'm going to bring in that leafy little image here, and I'm going to stamp off the cardstock just a little bit. All right, just because I don't want my leaves hanging in the air, so I want to make sure I do that. While I've got Garden Green out, we are going to take the stamp that says take care of yourself, and we're going to stamp that in the middle of that basic white. Remember, this was scrap. Oh, you know what? I do need one other sentiment. We're going to put that right up here. I got to open my own card so I remember what I did. Let's get together soon. So I thought this was just a nice card. If, you got to tell someone like Jenny, who's got COVID, take care of yourself. Let's get together soon and we'll celebrate her birthday. But yeah, so we want to get a little sentiment there. Now we're done with the Garden Green. I got to close it up because I will end up with Garden Green ink all over me. Now for the Petal Pink, we're going to top some things off here. So there is this really great stamp with the flowers all put together. I love stamps like this because I can just come right in here and I can add these. Let's see, I got to make sure I get it right. There we go. There we go. Again, do you just love photopolymer stamps specifically for this reason? Because everything goes right where you want it. Now, there's also a sweet little flower in here, and I'm just going to add, and you notice I'm kind of going right over the sentiment. That's fine. We're going to stamp a few flowers there, set that one off to the side, and this take care of yourself. We're going to do that same thing. Let's just add a few flowers around that. Guys, stamping done. Oh my goodness, so easy. Okay, so I'm now going to bring in my lasting label punch. Great punch, by the way. I love this one. I've got a trick for you with this one too, so stick around and I'll show you how to add a layer to it. I am going to put that there inside my punch. Make sure I got it lined up. We're going to give that a quick punch. Now, remember those pieces of sweet sorbet that we had? We are going to take these 2 smaller ones, all right? These right here. And I want you to very carefully make sure you're centering up the punch, and you're going to give that a punch. We really do want to make sure we're going to center it because, guys, this is our card saving tip, okay? We are going to layer on top of this, but we're going to use these pieces, and this is going to become a layer for our sentiment. So let me teach you that. We're going to set these off to the side. This is not scrap. Don't throw that away. We want to keep that. All right, let me grab my scissors here, and we're going to take these punches, and we're going to cut 1 1/2 long ways, 1 1/2 short ways. Now with this punch, we really are only focused on this outside edge. Do you see where the punch kind of curls in? I'm just going to come in and take that off, okay? just where it's curving in. And I'm going to the area that I cut because this isn't going to be seen. So neatness does not count. So we're going to trim this away. And I got to tell you, I think this is probably one of my all-time favorite tips ever is how to take a punch and add these layers because it's like we get double from our punches, right? Okay, so to put this together, I'm gonna bring in my adhesive. You can do the long or the short ends first. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and do these long edges. So I'm just going to put some adhesive right there. And you just simply layer. Do you see what I'm doing? I mean, come on, that's just beyond easy. It's going to add a great big splash of sweet sorbet to my sentiment. You know, and it's actually cute just like that. You could just do one, but you know, we cut out two, so let's use both. We'll add adhesive here. And now we can add these pieces. And my friends, that is why I had you trim it away, because if we didn't, it would start to peek out right there. But it's a simple little cut. And like I said, you don't even have to be neat about it. So we're going to add our other one right there. I mean, cuteness overload, right? Oh, Anita said that's an awesome tip. I'm glad you saw that. And Lori says, I saw Connie do that trick on her punch hacks video. Absolutely, I did. Yeah, I was actually kind of, that was in my head when I was thinking about it that, yep, we've used this hack before. All right. Well, I can't believe this. It's time to put a card together. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. Here we go. Let's put a card together. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my sweet sorbet. You know, one thing I love about having to adhere a card together is I always hope I get that opportunity to like look over to the side on my computer so I can see what you guys are saying. Sarah says, hi, just saying hello from Trinidad, West Indies. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. I love that our love of paper crafting can bring so many people together from all over the world. It just blows my mind. I don't know what time it is in the South Indies, but my goodness, thank you so much for joining us on our video today. Let's see. Jetty says, nice double layering technique. Absolutely. Now, I want to show you something before I adhere this down. I could have taken those punches from here. The reason I don't like to take layers from here is because I'm going to be writing a message on this. Now, every once in a while, you'll see me do it, but I really try to any place where I'm going to write my message, I don't want to have these little lumpies behind it. So it worked out well that these pieces fit. That is the inside of my card. So now let's take that designer series paper, and some designer series paper you can flip and use the other side and it complements. Other times it's really meant to stand alone. So depending on your paper, you'll add your designer series paper. You could do it all the same. In fact, I've got another card to share with you and I'll show you what that looks like. But this gingham was just so, oops, let's layer it. My goodness. We're going to layer that onto that sweet sorbet. I'm surprised Brenda's not in my ear going, Connie, no, wait. Yeah, we want to layer that. There's just something about cards with layers. They're gorgeous. And yeah, see how that paper really pops? You just needed that little thin mat of that sweet sorbet. So let's do this one. And then we're going to use the flower side on these pieces. Okay, we'll let those flowers kind of be the star on the front. All right. Okay, we're going to add our next layer. Judy says, yes, beautiful layers. And Rachel says, aloha from Hawaii. Oh, I'm so jealous right now. That sounds so wonderful. Although it's going to be 100 degrees here in Oklahoma, so we're all just kind of bracing ourselves for the heat. I know I was reading many of your comments before we started and you felt the same way. Okay, look at that. We've got that part of our card done. All right, now let's take those weird little pieces that we punched from, and we are going to layer these here onto our petal pink. You know what I think I'm going to do though? I think this might make it a little bit easier. I'm going to actually layer my designer series paper on first. This is a really narrow opening, but I want you to see it's also a very narrow mat that's going around it. But that's going to make it easier to add, come on, adhesive, make it easier to add that adhesive so we're not hitting that opening. So that might make it a little bit easier for you guys. Now we're going to add that to our next really great layer, right? Love this paper. Love this stamp set, I got to tell you. And I love tea, so it was definitely on the top of my list when the catalog came out. I loved that stamp set. Linda says, I think we need this pretty DSP and the stamps. You know, I'm not one to try to like say, yes, you need it all. But this one, this is a really good set. And you notice I'm using it in a very different way. I'm not using it as a teacup. So I love when Stampin' Up! Gives us the ability to really think outside the cup, think outside the stamp box, that we can do some more with these instead of keeping it just like that. All right, now to put this card together, this is one we've got to be real careful when we adhere. We can't just adhere these down or our card's not going to open. That will not be good. Let's start with this top one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and I center up my cardstock here on my card. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this one down here too, so I can really see right where it's going to go. All right. So I can kind of see my spacing. The reason I flip it over is I can see where the seam is of my card, and that shows me right where to put my adhesive. Okay. So I'm going to flip it over now. And now I don't have a fear of, did I put my adhesive where I needed to? I'm going to just gently tap that into place and flip it over. I want to make sure I don't have any adhesive showing, and I don't. Now we're going to add our next layer, but guys, this one we're going to go on the other side. So this one was on the left. This one is going to adhere to the right. So I will center that one up. Just like before, I can see, well, I'm hitting that little bump right in there. Let's try this again. Center. There we go. Adhesive here and here. Flip that one over. You know what I did? I forgot to add my ribbon. I'm just going to stop for just a second. All right, let's add our ribbon. Oh, because this is the best part. All right, it's all right. So I'm going to take some of the window pane. This is Evening Evergreen window pane. I'll be able to put this back down. It's all good. All right, let's add. All right, you know, that's just how I roll. And I know we've all done it. We've like started to put the card together. We get so excited, and then all of a sudden we go, wait a minute, we've missed a step. Yep, we're just going to tie this in a bow. You know, it looks like I needed a little more ribbon. I got to be honest, having that adhesive on there is actually kind of helpful. So maybe I've just created myself a brand new hack. What do you think? Add your adhesive, and that way it has something to stick to while you're tying your bow. You know, I'm always looking for a good hack. Oh, and Brenda says, oh, is that bundle? The bundle is on back order, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be back in stock here very soon. So hang tight, everybody. It's, you know, that global supply chain definitely does cause us some issues from time to time, right? Okay, we're going to trim this down. By the way, did you guys notice I left it on the spool? I find it just easier to work with ribbon when it stays on the spool. I have less waste that way too. All right, so my adhesive, well, I can really see right where it is. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to go over it one more time just to make sure. And we will add our last little focal image right here. See why I needed to add that ribbon? It really makes the card. And you can see, yeah, our little double flap. Now, for our sentiment, you could add it with dimensionals if you want. I think dimensionals always look great. Or you can go and just lay them down flat. I got to reach my Stampin' Dimensionals. They got pushed away from me there. All right, so let's put 4 dimensionals on our sentiment. And we will peel these away. Debbie says, I do the same thing when wrapping presents. Okay. Got to get that bow on there, right? Or using the tape. You're probably talking about using a little bit of adhesive to hold that bow into place. I'm telling you, well, my backings are going to stick to me. We're going to take that adorable little layered sentiment. We're going to put that right there. And I mean, how fast was that card? You guys, we've only been here for 20 minutes and I've probably only been stamping for 15. Isn't that a cute card? This is one that's going to wow a recipient for sure. I love it. I told you I had another card. Let me go ahead and bring in my other one. I used the same stamp set. I used the same designer series paper. I used the same ribbon. I used the same punch. Boy, is this a totally different look. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know I'm crazy about fruit. I love fruit stamps. I especially love lemons. My kitchen is decorated in lemons. So I loved this paper. And so for this one, I said, thank you. And then I said, thank you for your friendship and just use some lemons. This is in crushed curry. And then I used the garden green again, which I used right there. It just came out so cute. And even though this is evening evergreen ribbon, it complemented this card beautifully. It really did. So there is my additional idea for you guys. And here's the thing. This paper can be anything. This sentiment can be anything. These flowers can be anything. Get creative with what you have in your stamp room. It's all about those simple measurements. And remember, we do have a download, so you don't even have to try to remember the measurements. I mean, we like to keep it easy around here. You're going to have photos, so you won't forget what you're working on. You've got your supply list. Here are my measurements for the card. You can click here if you want to order anything, because I would love to be your demonstrator. And if you need to watch the video again, you'll be able to click that. Of course, not if you've printed it out. You can't click on a paper. But if you save this to your computer, you sure can. All right. Are you ready to see what we're going to create next week? Oh my goodness. It's time for another creative juice sketch because I know you guys love those. So this is our sketch. This is our layout. I'm trying to get all those in the camera for you. I love this one. And it's a very, very simple one. And I think you can see we're just going to use 2 panels and a banner. 2 panels and a banner, 2 panels and a banner. But I've got some tricks and things so we can create some fun. We've got a simple one, we've got a little more stepped up one, and then we're going to really step it up with this one by adding some punches instead of designer series paper or glimmer paper. So we're going to have some fun next week. I hope you guys will join me. That'll be on June 30th. Same time right here on my channel. And you know, I always love to do a little show and tell before we close things out. I got this card from Sonia from Washington. Love this. She used the Amazing Thanks dies. And don't you love how she die cut the words from this same designer series paper? And then the Pierce Blooms die, one of my favorites. And she just made me a really nice little thank you card. So Sonia, thank you so much for your card. I appreciate that. And that is what we've got for you today. Now, I've got something exciting to share with you. Something big is happening tomorrow. The Creative 8 Summer Online Stamp Retreat registrations opens tomorrow, Friday, the 24th. I would love to have you join me for this fabulous weekend of stamping. I'm telling you, we bring out the big guns. When I say we, it's the Creative 8 team. Many of these demonstrators, you know, Jackie Bolheis, Brandy Cox, Sharon Armstrong, and myself, we get together to take an entire weekend to just make it about you and stamping. We would love to have you. With that, you're going to get tutorials of some of our most amazing projects. You've never seen these before on our website, so it's all brand new. It really is a ton of fun. Why not spoil yourself and say, you know what? I need a weekend to stamp. I need a weekend for myself. So if you go to simplysimplestamping.com, tomorrow there will be a link for you to go and register. If you are on my mailing list, you're going to also get an email from me that'll get you a direct link so we can get you registered for that. Guys, it's going to be so much fun. And if you register before midnight on Sunday, we've got a bonus for you. We've got a bonus set of Funfold tutorials. So we'd love to gift that to you if you get signed up before Sunday. Stay tuned. There'll be more information on that over on my website, but I had to give a little shameless plug because it really is kind of the highlight of the year are these fun events where we get all these great stampers together and we just stamp and create and spoil ourselves. So I hope you'll join us. All right. I am going to close with that. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you found today's card easy. If you liked it, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? It always makes my day to know that you guys are enjoying the videos. And if you haven't subscribed, well, click that subscribe button up there in the corner. That way, YouTube can let you know whenever I'm back. And we would love to have you as a subscriber here on Simply Simple Stamping. My friends, that is all for me. Mwah, love you. God bless. See you next time. Bye bye.